I think also there's a lot of trends that flow through the professional and corporate world. And there's always some markers of things in the industry. So what do you see are the trends and markers to know where the recruitment industry and professional industry might be going as a whole within the next 12 to 18 months regarding applicant tracking systems and, just the broad strokes of it all?
Margaret, I wish I had a real answer for you on that. And the reason that I say that is in the recruiting world, it's not just whether a company has the money to hire. You have to take a step back and look at the economy. You have to look at the trends of even the stock market. You have to assess what are the roles that are super necessary right now. And so for me to say, what do I think the next 12 to 18 months is going to look like? I think I could tell you it's going to be great and be completely wrong. Or I could say, I think we're going to be in the same exact situation and I'm going to be completely wrong. And the reason that I say that specifically, from my time working at Audible, I got hired on as a contractor and was doing a very well job and was being told that they wanted to bring me on full time to be an employee with them. I went through the interview process with them, and they told me that they were actually going to hit pause on the hiring of bringing anybody on. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just continue to do my job. No worries. I was laid off 2 weeks later. Even though that I was still working, doing my job and moving in the path that I thought was going to get me to be brought on, I actually lost my job. And when they communicated that to us, they told us it was because of an economical downturn. And that's kind of what today looks like. You don't know who's going to be impacted. You don't know who's going to be hiring next in the current situation that we are in. The positives that I will bring to the table as well, though, companies are always going to need people. And if you find a company that you are wanting to work for, you need to make as many connections as you can at that company, even if it's as simple as going onto somebody's LinkedIn or going onto a company LinkedIn and adding every person that works at that company, no matter what they do, because all it takes is one of them to talk to you and you'll be able to find another way into where you want to be.
As an additional layer to that, though, based on where we're at and not knowing what to do, maybe if somebody does do all the right things and then they end up getting laid off like you had been, there's this myth that if somebody applies to a job, it goes into a vortex and nobody ever knows what happens to it and they might never hear back. So, now that you're in a role where you're doing that recruiting portion, what actually happens behind the scenes and what's the why of being rejected or accepted to move forward in that process?
When you go to apply to any given role, it gets submitted in through whatever that company's applicant tracking system is. Some of them, they don't notify the recruiter that somebody applied unless that person logs in, goes into their dashboard, and sees every person that has applied. When that does happen and the individual does look, most of us already have a threshold that, and this is just being super transparent, while the job description will say need 2 to 3 years experience, our hiring managers are saying, no, I need somebody for this specific role to have 5 to 6 years doing ABC as well as XYZ. While your experience matches and fits to the initial job description, we are dealing on the talent acquisition side that some hiring officials are looking for the purple unicorn and they don't want to exert any additional energy unless it's speaking with that purple unicorn. A lot of talent acquisition people, recruiters that are going to be working in the behind the scenes there, we are actively sourcing for our candidates ourselves. We're sending messages out. We're trying to communicate that way because we are the human element of hiring. And so we want to be able to have that connection. We want to be able to interact with those people. If I can send you a message, Margaret, and you say yes, I'm more excited about that conversation to happen than somebody who had applied I just sent an email to and then hope that they show up to the interview. The third piece of that, if you apply to a job and you never hear back, that's on the talent acquisition team. For the individuals that are looking to get in with a specific company, or if they are just trying to get a job, on LinkedIn, some of the spots are going to have, this is the hiring person on that. Feel free to shoot them a message. I will say that that most people who shoot me a message, they are at least going to get a response from me. Whether that is a message replying back saying, hey, actually this position has been filled, or hey, there's currently 4 candidates that are in the process right now. And so I think even messaging the person attached to the job is worth it. I think secondly, not tying the job description to your resume, but putting in elements from your experience that match the job description itself can get you a step up. And then I think thirdly, most companies don't look at cover letters anymore. And maybe I'm wrong, but I've worked for now 4 different recruiting companies, and nobody has ever asked as a hiring manager, let me see their cover letter.
That is news to me for sure. The world is changing. Can you share some do's and don'ts of interviewing once you get there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first one, no matter what your recruiter, the individual who's interviewing says, dress up. I do not care if you look better than the person interviewing you. They like that. I think another do is do send those thank you notes. They show a level of interest and excitement that even with my hiring managers that I'm working with today, when we're discussing candidates and what next steps can look like, they'll ask me, hey, has candidate A followed up with you? Has candidate A sent anything? And if I say, no, actually, I haven't heard anything from them. And they go, that's weird. They interviewed on Monday. Pass. We're moving on. Even if they had a good conversation, because there wasn't any sort of follow-up, any sort of thank you note, it's like that says more about your character than what the interview had said. Couple don'ts that I would highly recommend. If it is a video interview, please, please, please do not take it from your phone. There is nothing more distracting than a cell phone falling in the middle of an interview or getting notifications while you're taking an interview. And I will say that another don't take if it's a video interview, don't take your interview in a Starbucks. Don't take it in your car. Give the interviewer your undivided attention. Those would be kind of my quick 2 do's, 2 don'ts that I would recommend to anybody interviewing.
You were once a first generation professional in their shoes, so being part of this whole process that is the professional world as a first gen, what does being first gen mean to you?
I think being first gen is something that I truly love about myself. I grew up in a small town in Oklahoma with limited connections. We didn't have a lot growing up, and when I got the opportunity to go to college, I had always said, I'm getting out of my hometown. And so then I went to college, got out of there. And as soon as I finished college, I said, I'm getting out of the state of Oklahoma. And I did it within 6 months of graduating. I moved from Oklahoma to Indianapolis. Being able to do that, I think that I have not only made myself proud, but I know that I've made my family proud. It's truly something that every individual who is a first generation should give themselves not only a pat on the back, but also a badge of respect, because it's tough. There's a lot of times where even now I need to talk to my mom about benefits, and I'll ask a question and she's like, I don't know what that is. I've never had that as a question asked to me. And so it's a lot of figuring out how to do world by yourself. It's a level that doesn't get talked about enough. Everybody give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah, for sure. I think on that note, thank you so much for sharing all of your insight on this today. I think it's been a great conversation, and I think I want to take us home with one question we love to ask in all of our community leader interviews, and that's what do you love about Milwaukee? What's brought you here? What keeps you here? What's your favorite thing?
What has kept me here has really been the people that I have met who are now my family away from Oklahoma. The people here care. And it's from the first conversation you have, they will do what they can to support you. And then I think secondly, my most favorite thing about Milwaukee are the breweries and the beer selection, to be honest.
That's fair.
It's a great city to be in if you're a beer enthusiast, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here and for helping our membership prepare to navigate this job market, and for sharing all of your best practices on how to do that. Where can our membership find you to connect?
Yeah, find me on LinkedIn. It's J period, and then Brizendine. Kind of a difficult last name, but Brizendine. If any of them have questions about the market, or even want to do any little bit of interview prep, I'm more than happy to help somebody out with that.
Well, thank you so much again. And I think we'll close out. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you.